Welcome to Stoppage Time with IPJ and my man, John Buckets. Hey, Buckets! It's International Break Day once again. We have a show with international games. But how are you, buddy?
I'm as good as you can be during our 18th international break of the season. I swear, man, the actual domestic play between each break is getting shorter and shorter, but we're here, and that's what matters in the end, right?
We are here, but it's also a special day. Do you know why?
It's Jeff's birthday?
No, we are celebrating 3,000 subscribers on our wonderful show, Stoppage Time, baby. We got to the magic number 3,000. It took about a year longer than I expected, and we've only been around for a year and a half. So, yeah, a little bit pissed off it took this long, but we're there, baby. Thank you to all the loyal listeners for all your love and support. We're at 3,000. Here is the start of the journey to 4,000 buckets. Pretty special, eh? From where we began to where we're at right now, 3,000 people want to listen to what fuck me and you've got to say.
Yeah, 3,000 people not only listen to what the fuck you and I have to say, but they're trusting us with their money on the wagers, Ian. It feels good. Obviously, we work very, very hard, and I don't think people see how much goes on behind the scenes with you, with me, with Jeff, with Hot Cocoa, with everyone on the team. So it feels good to see those numbers, and I just hope we can keep growing how we have been.
Hey, you know what? It's not just the subscriber numbers that are going up as well. Hot Cocoa leading the way on socials as well. So Instagram Reels are doing pretty well, but TikToks, we're hitting pretty good numbers on the TikToks. Obviously, yourself putting out separate bets on Instagram and TikTok, just separate, only allowed for social media platforms. So if you want to get those bets, you have to go to those social media platforms. And if you don't have TikTok or Instagram, you're completely shit out of fucking luck. But Hot Cocoa is riding it brilliantly all the way up to over 1,000 every single time we put a video out there on TikTok. It's getting over 1,000 every single view, which I love. And of course, if you want to go follow her on an Instagram account and us on our social media accounts as well with FC Stoppage Time Buckets. Coming up on today's show, of course, it is an international week, which we don't like. So it's not too an active show, but it gives us an opportunity to do something different, you know? Maybe you'll hear from the loyal listeners a little bit more. So we'll have some loyal listener comments. We'll check up on the future plays. We'll obviously discuss what's been going on around the top European leagues and also top leagues around the world. And we'll get some best bets from you, Buckets, before we get the fuck out of here. But before we start on any bets or any plays, there's a story that just appeared this week. And do you want to know what the most controversial and most discussed topic this week was, not including a Premier League referee?
Oh, not including the Premier League. I have no idea then. That's what I was going to say.
Inter Miami getting knocked out of the Major League Soccer playoffs, baby. Hey, Buckets, before we go any further, Inter Miami lost. Obviously, they were top of the table in Eastern Conference. They were brilliant. They had a record number of points, 74 points, 79 goals scored, 22 games won from 34 games. Outstanding regular season. Messi was missing with injuries. The team was okay. They were playing well without Messi. They were doing such a great job scoring goals, winning games. And of course, Tata, he's the best manager. And then they got knocked out by Atlanta in a three-legged series. Of course, Atlanta, they went down in the first game 2-1. They won the second game 2-1. And then away from home in the final third leg, they won by 3-2, which was an incredible game. And that led me to put out this tweet here. Buckets, I went on to say, adios into Miami, a bunch of bad losers and nowhere near good enough to compete for MLS Cup. This result makes the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup nomination a complete embarrassment. And guess what? Nobody cares about the Supporters' Shield. Congratulations to Atlanta United. They lost most of their superstar players and their coach, and yet they still won the game. Now, as you can see, Buckets, it got quite a bit of a pop on the social media world. What was your thought on the game into Miami and my fucking tweet?
I didn't really care much for that third match because I did have a little bit of coin on Miami, assuming that it was written in the stars. Miami has to go through. We got to make sure everyone gets their money. Good for MLS, good for Apple, all that stuff. But Atlanta said absolutely not. And honestly, I was embarrassed for this Miami side after seeing that little scuffle with Guzman after their second goal or whatever it was, where they were bullying this poor 40-year-old goalkeeper out there just doing his best. I was a little bit disgusted with how they played. I did really appreciate your tweet. I saw your tweet because when I opened up Twitter, I didn't see your tweet yet, but I saw a reply to it from a passionate Miami fan, if those exist, saying, "How dare you? You guys play on a damn baseball field. You don't know what it's like to blah, blah." New York's still in. That's all I'm saying. Miami's gone. So you can fight all you want there, Ian. But all around, I was embarrassed for this Miami side.
Well, let me explain into detail as to why I put that tweet out there. Obviously, I mentioned bad losers. Now, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, and Sergio Busquets, for me, their reaction and lack of discipline was completely disrespectful to the rest of the players in the league and also disrespectful to the officials as well. Jordi Alba post-game going after the referee. I mean, the constant complaining. Suarez getting in people's faces, arguing every single minute. It was a disaster to see. So for me, it was a complete lack of respect. And the complaining never stopped. It was all the way through the season. And discipline was a big problem for this Inter Miami side. But how about this, Buckets? They fucking failed. Whether you like it or not, those names right there failed. Suarez may have scored 20 goals, but you didn't make it past Atlanta United in the playoffs. I don't want to criticize Messi because obviously he missed a part of the season, still got 20 goals, and he's the world's greatest ever player. But at the same time, he still failed. What really happened to them, of course, was the fact that they got tired. In the final games when it mattered most, in the playoffs, when Major League Soccer does their business, those players got tired. In my opinion, that was bad management. And that also brings me to the question, should they start to replace the manager? Tata Martino won MLS Cup, I think it was 2018, with Atlanta United. So he lost to his former club. He knows how the playoffs work, but maybe they should start replacing their boss. Buckets, your thoughts on that?
That's a very tricky one because you got to find someone who can manage those kind of personalities and that level of star power. Because if you are any manager, it's going to be hard to tell Suarez, to tell Alba, to tell Messi, hey, we need you to take a couple games off in the season to make sure you're rested for the playoffs. You have to have the right personality to be able to do that with those type of players. And I don't know who you get to do that.
I have no idea, but you are right. You've got to start to prepare properly for the playoffs now. Forget about the fact that last year they went on a fucking world tour before a ball was even kicked in the season. They were the other side of the world playing friendly games. I mean, this is bad management from the top all the way down and certainly not preparation. And of course, I would have expected more from David Beckham because you know what? Want to hear a story? David Beckham was a part of the LA Galaxy team that, of course, went all the way to MLS Cup final in 2009. And Beckham and Donovan and a few other stars were in that team, but it wasn't necessarily a team. It was a team with some stars in it. But they came up against another team. By the way, that was my Real Salt Lake in 2009. That the team was the star. Every single player made the same money, salary-wise. Every single player was around about the same level. And fucking hell, that team was dominant. And guess what happened? Real Salt Lake won on the day and beat David Beckham in the final in 2009. So for me, this is about obviously getting themselves an opportunity to try and have a proper team. Same thing happened with NYCFC. They had fucking Villa, Lampard, and Pirlo in their team and couldn't win it. I mean, come on. It's not what you're seeing with Barcelona, but it's not far off of it. You have three of the greatest players ever to play the game. And yet they didn't get to MLS Cup final. They were nowhere near good enough. Why? Because it was individuals. It wasn't a team. What happened to NYCFC in 2021 is they put a team together, a team with youngsters hungry, a team with experience who are willing to help the youngsters, who are willing to help one another, and a coach who led them all the way to the final to go ahead and win it. It was pretty remarkable and put a star above the badge. And what does this do? Of course, the last part of my tweet said this is an embarrassment for FIFA Club World Cup nomination. We've been discussing this previously. These guys got nominated for winning what? The Supporters' Shield? For winning most points in a regular season in Major League Soccer? You know what? It's a fucking embarrassment, and I'll tell you why it's an embarrassment. It means absolutely nothing to win Supporters' Shield in an irregular season. They call it a regular season, but you don't play every team twice. You don't get to play the same opposition home and away. You're playing some teams 3 times, some teams 4 times. You're playing at home 3 games in a row. No, it's completely uneven, therefore unfair. So for me, it's an embarrassment that happened, and I think Major League Soccer tells us that as well. Can I ask you real quickly what you think the prize money is to win Supporters' Shield, let alone MLS Cup? Prize money to win Supporters' Shield.
I'm going to say like 250,000.
Nothing. No prize money for winning Supporters' Shield. You get nothing, which tells me that Major League Soccer doesn't even care about it. And then if you win MLS Cup, you win 300,000. If you're lucky, you can share that around your pocket money in the fucking locker room. I mean, it's crazy. Now what's happening is we're looking at the fact that they've been given the opportunity to go compete in the FIFA Club World Cup, and they will automatically be given, just because they're competing, $54 million. $54 million. And I know I've talked about this before previously on stoppage time episodes, but to me, it's a fucking embarrassment to the rest of Major League Soccer. So here's how it looks anyway. Forget Inter Miami. They're fucking out. Here's a look at what happens going forward with the bracket. We have a New York derby when it comes to one side of the bracket. And of course, they will be competing against Orlando or Atlanta United in the other side. So that should be pretty tasty as well. And then in the west side, you've got LA Galaxy going up against Minnesota, LAFC going up against Seattle, which is a cracking game as well. Buckets, if you were to place your money on a single team to go and win MLS Cup right now, don't tell us just yet because that's coming up later on in the show. Your thoughts, Buckets, full stop. Let me know what you think about the bracket as it sits right now.
The bracket, how it sits right now, is very, very fun for me because all the teams that we thought would still be in it are gone. Not only is Inter Miami gone, we have to remember that Columbus is gone and Cincinnati is gone as well. So my beloved Columbus, of who I've supported since, before I can remember, is out. But all these names that were the heavy favorites, that were the big future market money makers, that were the teams that were that plus 100 to plus 400 are all gone. So it's very up in the air, which to me as a sports bettor is very exciting, but also just as a fan of soccer, it's nice to see some of these teams that weren't expected to make it still be a part of this competition.
Hey, Buckets, that was an aggressive start to our show, so I'm kind of needing some love. I'm needing a feel-good story, something to just pick me up a little bit before we then proceed on with the futures. So can you please give all the loyal listeners an update while we've got time on this international break to your love life? How's things going?
Oh, we're both sick right now, so we haven't seen each other in a hot minute.
That means nothing to me. Talk to me about love.
Oh.
Talk to me about how you're feeling about one another, how things are going in the relationship. While you cough your guts up and the loyal listeners start to feel sorry for you, how's things going?
Things are going good, man. I'm not great at relationships. I haven't been for a very long time, but I am feeling a certain kind of way about her and about this relationship that I haven't felt before. So it's good to kind of have to explore these new emotions, but they're positive emotions, and that's something that I'm very excited about.
No, obviously, we're not going to reveal a name or mention anything or even show pictures. I'm sure in your own time you will be able to do that on our show stoppage time because we know the loyal listeners, they want to see and hear. But at the same time, tell me something that you love about her. Tell me something that you just go, wow, this is why she's different.
I love her blind support for what I do. She is not a sports fan. She's not a soccer fan, but she'll still sit there and just listen to me ramble or vent about Bayern Munich or Benfica or these random clubs. And she just smiles and goes, whatever you say. And that's kind of nice to have someone that just supports your passions, even though they're not involved with them themselves.
Buckets has found the one. Never let her go. We love you, buddy, and we're so happy for you. Obviously, get well to both of you as well. All right, let's get into the busy side of our show stoppage time. We're going to talk futures right now. I want to discuss all of the top leagues around the world, if it's possible, with you, Buckets. I'm going to begin with the Premier League. I'll show you the top of the table in the Premier League right now because Liverpool are there on 28 points, followed by Manchester City on 23 points. Then you've got a bit of a gap to Chelsea on 19, Arsenal on 19, Forest on 19, Brighton on 19, Fulham on 18, Newcastle on 18, Villa on 18, 1 point separating 3 to 9 in the Premier League standings, which is absolutely insane. It seems like it's going to be a battle between Manchester City and Liverpool at the top of the table, and the futures tell us exactly that. Liverpool have now gone favourites at plus 110. Manchester City, there's money to be made there, plus 200. And then, as you can see, the rest of the teams following behind them. So, Buckets, what do you think, first and foremost, about the odds on the futures in the Premier League?
It's just crazy how quickly the odds can move from one week to the next. I really like Liverpool even at plus 110 because, Ian, I'm just watching this Man City side that has now lost 4 matches in a row across all competitions. I know they'll get it fixed. They've got the talent, they've got Pep, they'll be fine, but they are not going to be fine in regards to winning this competition. They're just broken without Rodri. I don't think they win the Premier League. I think they'll be a top 4 team, no problem. They'll be a second team, no problem. But right now, Arne Slot's doing something special with Liverpool, and I'd take them no problem at plus 110.
Plus 110 is a play. Right now, they're clearly favourites, but at plus 200, Manchester City, in my opinion, are still a favourable go. I mean, 5 point gap at the top of the Premier League is not too much for Manchester City to make up on. But you're right, of course, 4 games defeats across all competitions for the first time ever in Pep Guardiola's managerial career, which is pretty crazy. Bet responsibly, everybody. Let's go to the Bundesliga, obviously a league that is close to our hearts. Bayern Munich sitting top of the table right now on 26 points, Leipzig on 21 points, Frankfurt on 20 points, Leverkusen and Freiburg on 17, and all the way down in 7th spot is Borussia Dortmund on 16 points. So let's have a look at the futures to win it all. Clearly, Bayern Munich are favorite by a mile. Buckets. Nothing's really going to change there, right?
Yeah, nothing's going to change that. Right now, you're not betting futures here for Bayern Munich. You're trying to bet on that second in the Bundesliga or maybe top four. If you can find a Dortmund top four line or Leipzig to finish second, I think both of those are very playable. But right now, I'm not going anywhere near a future on Bayern Munich. It's just not worth it at minus 1800 or whatever it was.
Well, just like that, as you said, top four, take a look at this. This is the odds for top four in the Bundesliga. And look at Borussia Dortmund. Plus 105 for Borussia Dortmund to finish in the top four of the Bundesliga. And if I can hear a keyboard rightly, that is John Bucketsheimer putting that wager on right now. They're currently sitting in 7th spot in the Bundesliga on 16 points. They are 1 point behind Leverkusen, who are 4th in the Bundesliga. Plus 105, Dortmund, who never lose at home, shied away from home, but never lose at home. They've got a chance, Buckets. That's a tasty wager.
That's a tasty wager. Plus 105 is frankly a bad line. Dortmund's going to finish top four. It's just what they do. They're not going to win the Bundesliga probably ever again, Jeff, but top four you have to take. And Frankfurt at plus 175, Ian, that's kind of caught my eye as well. Frankfurt, specifically in Bundesliga, has been pretty nasty this season. I like them a lot right now.
Omar Marmoush scoring goals for them. 26 goals scored in the 10 games that they played so far. Marmoush has been on fire. Double figures in goals, double figures in assists across all competitions. He's fucking outstanding. Let's go to La Liga right now, where there is a battle at the top of the table because Barcelona and Hansi Flick's side just lost this past weekend, but they're still top on 33 points. Real Madrid second on 27, Atletico Madrid third on 26. We don't really care about anyone else because no one else has a chance of winning it. So let's have a look at the futures buckets. Barcelona minus 155 are favorites. Real Madrid plus 115 not favorites. Your thoughts?
I got to vent about Barcelona real quick because I bet on that matchup against Real Sociedad. I said Barcelona's been untouchable. Real Sociedad have conceded 22 straight matches against Barcelona in club head-to-head history. There's absolutely no way Sociedad will come close to beating them. And they kept a clean sheet for the first time against Barcelona since 2015. So I'm a little bit biased, a little bit upset with Barcelona right now. But even after that loss, we can't ignore how good Hansi Flick has been. We can't ignore Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski. I think they ended up winning this league. Real Madrid at plus 115 is always going to be playable. 6 points behind with a game in hand. Obviously, Real Madrid can catch up here, but plus 115, minus 155, not a lot of fun value in the future here in La Liga.
All right, we go to Italy, and this is where it gets really interesting in Italy because Napoli are top of the table on 26, Atalanta second, 25, Fiorentina third, 25, Inter 25, Lazio 25, Juventus 24. So top six is where it's at. But this is crazy to me. The team that is sitting 4th place right now on 25 points are currently the favorites to win it all, and that is Inter Milan at minus 120. Napoli top of the table, plus 300 buckets. Does that grab your fancy?
It doesn't grab my fancy quite yet here. I do think that Inter end up running away with this eventually. But how fun is Serie A right now? I mean, just everyone could possibly still win it. You got 6 teams all in contention for that first spot here. Maybe even I might play a sprinkle, just a tiny sprinkle on Juventus at plus 700 to have something fun to root for here. Atalanta at plus 650. There are some very fun lines here, but I'm not taking a minus 120 future on a market this close, Ian.
All right, let's go to the top 5 league in world football. And of course, that is not France. That is Major League Soccer. I'm throwing it in there. We have a look at the bracket one more time because, of course, it is competitive with NYCFC and Red Bull going against head-to-head against each other. We're trying to figure out how this is all going to play out because, of course, there's been a few surprises in Major League Soccer already on the east side of the bracket. The team that finished 1st, 2nd, and 4th, I think, are already out, which is quite remarkable. And now, all of a sudden, it leaves us with the futures looking like this. There's money to be made here, Buckets, by the way, if you're brave enough. LAFC plus 200, LA Galaxy plus 300. Clearly, people are favoring the west side because a lot of the teams in the east side are lower seeded teams. Orlando plus 500. Red Bull and New York City Football Club are plus 800. Sounders at plus 900. And then you've got Minnesota at 1,400 and Atlanta United at 2,500. Just beat Inter Miami. I'm throwing it out there. So where are you leaning here, Buckets?
Jeff, can you go back to the bracket real quick with all the teams. IPJ, I'm going to tell you exactly how the whole MLS Cup is going to play out. You ready?
Yes.
Starting in the conference semifinals, I have LA Galaxy going through. I've got LAFC going through, so we are going to get that LA Derby in the semis. I've got NYCFC going through and Orlando going through. I've then got NYCFC beating Orlando to making it to the finals, and I've got LA Galaxy upsetting LAFC. I think we do get LA Galaxy versus NYCFC in the final. And then I'm not going to say who I think will win because IBJ will beat me up, but just know that you can probably pick who I'm going to win based on that comment alone.
That's interesting. So you've gone with LA Galaxy to win MLS Cup, which is quite remarkable because right now they're sitting at plus 300 on the futures. That is quite tasty. I'm not going to give who I think is going to obviously go ahead and win these games through the brackets. I think the brackets are really tasty right now. Anything can happen in Major League Soccer. But what I will say here is, as you can see, many plus numbers, bet responsibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see NYCFC in the final. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Red Bull in the final either, because the way they dismantled Columbus was incredible. And teams are performing well at the right time. NYCFC, New York Red Bull, Orlando performing well at the right time. On the other side of the bracket, people are favoring LAFC and LA Galaxy and maybe Seattle Sounders, but I'm still seeing vulnerability there. They've not hit their peak potential yet. There's room for improvement for all of those teams. So be very careful where you place your money over there, and watch out for Minnesota because they've got a very, very good and talented coach, and not an easy place to play against them either as well. I know that game's at the Galaxy, but it's not an easy team to compete against because I think at any time they can switch it on. Buckets, you ready for some best bets?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. You know, it wouldn't be an episode of Stoppage Time if we didn't get you some wagers from our betting expert. That is, of course, John Bucketsheimer, our betting expert, our blonde bombshell, our betting unicorn. That is, of course, the legendary Bucketsheimer himself. Buckets, I want a few bets from you today. Okay, maybe more than that. I want 5 best bets for you. I'm looking for a best bet for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The listeners are expecting. I'm also intrigued because it's international week and I have no idea where the fuck you're going. So let's begin with your best bet on Thursday.
Ian, if there's 2 things everyone knows about me, it's number 1, that I am a very generous lover. And number 2, they know that generally I don't like betting on the United States men's national team. But one of those things has to change this week during international break because I'm looking at this matchup between Jamaica and USA. I'm looking at Mauricio Pochettino needing a big decisive victory here, especially coming off of that loss to Mexico in the friendly. And I'm looking at a USA squad that will have their key players, most of their key players back here, Ian. So I'm actually going with the United States men's national team in the CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinal money line. USA money line currently priced at plus 110. Generally, I do not like money line wagers here. I'll always go for a team total if I can, or I'll always go for an over or a player prop or something. But the fact that USA is playable right now on that money line in a game that could be kind of a cagey 1-0 win, Jamaica going to try to sit back here and play this slow. I just don't think it's going to matter here, Ian. They should have Christian Pulisic here. They should have Ricardo Pepe. They should have enough strikers to make this game very attack-focused for USA. And Pochettino needs to remind everyone that he's the new boss for a reason. They need a big win here, and I think USA ends up getting it.
Yeah, plus numbers for U.S. national team against Jamaica is favorable. Jamaica, obviously, with the new boss and Steve McLaren, who's got a very funny Jamaican accent, which is quite interesting. He also has called and recalled Leon Bailey back into the squad, so they've got a strong roster, and they're dangerous. But at the same time, the U.S. are stronger, and they should win that game. So plus numbers here, I love it, John Bucketsheimer. Let's go to Friday.
I do just want to point out as well that Christian Pulisic to score or assist right now is currently plus 145 if you are looking for a player prop on good old Captain America. But looking towards Friday, let's get into the Nations League action here as we've got a big matchup between Portugal and Poland. And I'm picking this matchup specifically because in this competition, Poland has been absolute perfection when you're betting both teams to score, which is currently priced at plus 100. I am looking at a Poland side that in their 4 match days of Nations League, they had a 3-2 win over Scotland, a 3-1 loss already to Portugal, a 3-3 draw to Croatia, and a 1-0 loss to Croatia. But this is a team that is just scoring for fun. They're playing very, very, very offensive football right now, and they're not really focused on defense at all. Obviously, they've got Robert Lewandowski, but they've also got Piotr Zielinski. They've got Zalewski. They've got a lot of these younger guys who are scoring goals and who I am apologizing to in advance for pronouncing their names wrong. Portugal are going to score here. They'll probably get 2 or 3 here, but do not count out Poland for cashing that both teams to score and getting that 1 goal that we need.
Yeah, both teams to score is probably where I would go as well, but I am favoring Portugal in this game because Portugal are a dangerous squad of players, man. I think this squad, I'm going to throw it out there, is going to be a threat for World Cup 2026. I just love Portugal. I think they're fucking stacked. So that's what I feel about that one. Buckets, where are you going, obviously, for the next bet on Saturday?
For the next bet on Saturday, we are going to another Nations League match, but one that's honestly not as exciting as the Portugals or the Germanys or the Polands. But just because it's not exciting doesn't mean we can't cash a ticket. I am looking at Montenegro taking on Iceland, two teams that probably no one's really focused on in Nations League again because there's not that big player name, there's not that big goal scoring threat. But what I will say is Iceland draw no bet is currently plus 100 against a Montenegro team that has not won a game yet. They are 0-4. They've only scored one time and they've conceded 6 goals. And when they played Iceland earlier in this competition, they lost 2-0 in a game where Iceland probably should have beaten them 4-0. This Montenegro side has absolutely nothing to play for. They cannot qualify, they cannot advance, they can't do anything right now except maybe get a point. And if they do get a point off Iceland and we see a draw here, we still got that safety net for the much better team Iceland, who still has something to play for with 6 points, possibly able to put them in the top two.
Yeah, I have no idea about this game at all whatsoever. I know Montenegro are crap and they haven't won a game. They've lost all 4 of their games in the group play. So I'm staying away, but at the same time, I'll be watching very closely. Where are you going for on Sunday?
Sunday, we had to do a little bit of digging because we had to really go into some of these lower leagues. We had to try to find some value here and find a way to get our loyal listeners some money. And I've done just that. But to do it, you're going to have to go to the Segunda División La Liga 2 with me in a matchup between FC Cartagena taking on Huesca. Probably not right, but that's how I'm going to say it. We are taking Huesca to score in the first half, currently priced at plus 150. This Cartagena side is the worst team in all of Segunda Division. They are 22nd out of 22 teams. They've conceded 25 times in 14 matches. They have the worst defense. They've got the second worst offense. This is a team that is just getting the shit kicked out of them. Huesca is not a great team by any means, but you don't have to be a great team to score against Cartagena. And Huesca likes to score specifically in the first half. 4 of their last 5 goals in Segunda Division have come in the first 45 minutes. This is a team that so far this season, they go up 1-0 at halftime and then they draw or they lose. They take their foot off the gas and they basically just give up. So I don't care if they win or lose. I just care that they get that first goal that they have been getting all season long, Ian.
Yeah, very interesting. Huesca, as you pointed out there, obviously are a team that can score goals away from home. They've not got a bad record whatsoever. They won 3 from 7, 14 goals scored, which caught my attention as well. And Cartagena at home, worst team in the league. No wins, 1 draw, 5 losses, 11 goals conceded. Anything can happen. All right, let's go to your next best bet on Monday. I know it's not easy to find one there.
No, this was not easy, but I made it work because I am, in fact, the blonde unicorn bombshell, whatever the hell I am. I forget sometimes. We are going to Brasileiro. Oh, Brazil Serie B. I should have just said Brazil. Serie B in a matchup between Sierra Fortaleza and America MG. Brazil is down to their final 2 match days of the season. And in Serie B, if you finish in the top 4, you go up. If you finish in the bottom 4, you go down. There's no crazy playoff. There's no insane action that I'm aware of, at least. And right now, Sierra Fortaleza is one of these teams that is fighting tooth and nail to get that top 4 spot. They are currently 4th on the table with 2 matches left. They have scored 58 times, the most in all of Serie B, but they're also conceding 41 goals at the same time. So this is a team that is struggling defensively. But as we saw yesterday when they played Botafogo, when they need to win, they are fucking terrifying. Team total for Sierra yesterday against Botafogo was plus 150 to score 2 goals. They scored 4 goals. This is a team that realizes they have to go for goals right now and they have to win, or they might not find promotion because of that. I'm taking Sierra Fortaleza on the money line at minus 135. Again, I'm not the biggest money line fan, but all that matters right now for Sierra is that they win games. And America, win or lose, it doesn't really affect them on the table. They're not getting promoted and they're not getting relegated. So Sierra, Ian, should come out swinging.
There you have it, everybody. He has spoken.
Ugh.
Like it's Eimer with some best bets for this next weekend. It's in the international week as well. So everybody out there, please bet responsibly because as we already know, it's very difficult to place wagers on the international season because you never know with players being healthy, whether they're not, who's playing in the starting 11. You know, obviously Buckus has gone to the money line, which I rarely ever hear him do. So I'm really intrigued to see how he does. Now he's throwing his money at it as well. The only thing I will say here is bet responsibly. Let's get to some loyal listener comments, John Bucketsheimer. We've got a bunch to rattle off here. It's been a period of time since I actually have discussed any loyal listener comments, and I want to say thank you to everybody out there for your comments. We love the fact that you're sharing what you feel about the show, so please keep those comments coming on our YouTube platform, especially because to me it makes my day. And then, of course, the likes have been really awesome, and the subscribes, obviously, we're over 3,000 as well. Continue to share the show as much as you possibly can. So time to give back to the loyal listeners. Buckets, are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Haven't done this in a while. I'm quite excited.
I know.
Rainbow Thunderstruck. Great show, gents. Thank you very much, Rainbow Thunderstruck. We've got Salim X123, whatever the fuck that is. Thanks for keeping all the picks coming, guys. Congrats on the 3,000 subscribers. Long-time loyal listener right there, Buckets. A little shout out to Salim from you.
Oh, yeah. Little shout out to, I forgot that I'm supposed to respond to these too, Ian. It's been a while since we've done these. Shout out to Salim. Thank you for supporting us. He's one of our OGs. He's a day one supporter. So we appreciate you, Salim.
Yamataha. Hi, guys. Anybody to tell me where I can look these kinds of stats? Thanks for the insights. I love it. Buckets, where do you get your stats from when you're choosing your picks?
I go to sofascore.com. We are not sponsored, but they have incredible head-to-head history and predicted lineups as well. A lot of good information on that site.
Listen, all I will say is when it comes to statistics, I use FOPMob. For me, it is golden when it comes to goals, assists. I mean, it tells you absolutely shots. It breaks down every single game. So what I do on CBS Sports Galazzo Network is I use FOPMob religiously. It helps me through every single game. You get live notifications as well. And if you're looking for some betting odds, I'm not sure if the betting odds are on there, but they will lean you towards where to go in these games. We go to Bradley Yingst. He says, I knew all my Buckets for President tweets were a bad idea. I'm not sure what that means, Buckets, but Buckets for President for me as well. Eric Gunnarsson, 7587. I feel like, Buckets, I've heard that name before. Have you heard that name before?
Possibly. It does ring a bell. I don't know why, though.
Yeah! Thanks for the show, boys, Eric says. We go to Mark Stay 4664. Thanks, Bucket. Sporting was good to me. Now, Sporting Lisbon have changed their coach. Amarin is now at Manchester United. Buckets, do you take your attention away from Sporting Lisbon, or do you keep going because Gyökeres is still there?
I just keep going because Gyökeres is there, and I think that he's going to be in the EPL this summer anyways, so he's going to keep boosting his stats as much as he can.
Alvaro Dumanzella, love you guys. Let's go and make some of that green paper. We believe in it. Nicholas Owlswine jumping in, is in. Great show, guys. Block out the haters and don't lock out the interaction from the good guys out there, as that is what puts you guys over the top, in my opinion. Always sending the love, Nicholas. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming. Lydia jumping in and saying, I was about to go to bed. Not anymore. LFG. And you know why, Buckets? It's because producer Jeff dropped the episode at a ridiculous hour that no one was awake for, and Lydia decided to not go to sleep to watch the episode. So we love the support from Lydia. Shout out to Lydia, Buckets.
Shout out to Lydia, and shout out to Jeff. That dude is a workhorse. He'll tell us, hey, this show will be up by 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then I wake up and the show is already out with 500 views because Jeff got it done early. Thank you, Lydia, and thank you, Jeff.
GatorFan2359, love the show. Thanks, guys. Gunmand Atticus, no timestamps? What the fuck? Producer Jeff, this one's for you. Like, what the fuck is up with the timestamps? Only kidding. Hey, guess what? Goodam Atticus, I did ask the question about your timestamps, and producer Jeff said to me, fuck your timestamps. Means shit to me. You know why? Nobody cares about the timestamps, so therefore your timestamps are fucking gone. Let's go to Tresh Hiflet 1725, if that's the name. Teresa, sorry, Tresh, oh, whatever. Wonderful show. Thanks for the entertainment and the wins. We appreciate you too as well. Second best, 2877. Buckets in the end. Got that boom, boom, pow. Buckets, shout out to second best.
Boom, boom, pow. Is that the Costco guys thing? Have you seen that? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. He's either doing that or he's listening to what's happening in your bedroom at night with a new lover, if you know what I mean. DP Hill 23, long time listener, and still appreciate the hell out of you guys. That's why. It's because we continue to get better every single fucking show. We're never going to stop bringing the heat. Reed Phillips Rad saying, yo, the boys are back. That was, of course, after our previous international break, but we are back. We've got Robin Joy 4005. Any relation? Doubt it. Anyway, I love buckets full of cupcakes and marshmallows and the Smarty Pants Goose.
What's the smarty? What?
Exactly. That was my thought exactly. What the fuck?
That's
I
that's one
love
of your that's one of
buckets.
your family. Robin Joy.
I love buckets full of cupcakes and marshmallows and the Smarty Pants Goose.
It's got to be a sex thing. I don't know, but it's got to be. That's all I know. Thank you.
You and your fucking swipe lefters, man. Some weirdos out there. We got Tim Duluth 3486. Awesome show, fellas. Thanks again. We've got Reed Phillips Rad jumping back in and saying, holy crap, I've missed these guys and this show. My soul has felt empty and hollow without them. We are back. We've got a loyal listener, Asian Outlaw 23. Bucket. Please get her on as a cameo for your next episode. You slayed it with the QB interception props. Ha ha ha. I am sure she follows NFL football, so let's do it. For Asian Outlaw Buckets, what's your response?
She does not follow NFL football. The one thing she does follow is Ohio State college football. She is an Ohio State girl, so
Buckeye.
got to support that. Buckeye.
All right, we've got CFEJ12. Boys are back in town. Great content and insight as always. And maybe we see Hot Cocoa and Buckets' girlfriend doing an MLS collab. Interesting, John Bucketimer. Maybe at some point we can make that happen. Check it. Check 978. Nah, International Week is where it's at. There is more consistency except for England. When betting England, take the risk and bet the 0.5 goal for the other team. Your thoughts on that, Bucket?
Yeah, just don't bet England at all. I don't think I've ever gotten a bet right on this English squad. It just doesn't work for me for some reason.
We go to Eliza Ramirez Moreno 9985. Let's go, Buckets and IPJ. Missed you all the last few weeks. Let's have a week. Now, the last one is an interesting one, Buckets, and it's something I wanted to talk about. Fel Smith jumped in and said, just wanted to say, I love the show and I love what you guys do. If you feel like you need to run ads or whatever to keep it going, do that. Anyone who is a real fan will understand that this is a business as well as your passion. So keep it going. Now, on that note, John Bucketzheimer, something will change with our show. Stoppage time coming up because we have on the YouTube platform released the ads. And now what we've done is we've allowed ads to come onto the show at some point, and it's not necessarily for the reasons why you think. Of course, we need money to keep the show going, but we're privately funding it right now, and it works fine. We've got money. We're fine. We're looking for a partner actively, obviously, to create it and make it bigger. And of course, we will do our best to make sure that we keep the show free for you guys so that you can obviously do that. But I think my idea, and I was speaking with producer Jeff about this, and I want to hear what you think about this one, Buckets, as well, that if we introduce the ads on YouTube, there's a chance that YouTube might actually promote the show themselves. So therefore, I feel like it's worth trying opening up the ads so that they make money, that they might want to say, hey, push this show a little bit more. Maybe we can start increasing the viewership of our show. Buckets, for me, it's a business idea. What do you think?
It makes perfect sense to me, right? We want to be on YouTube's good side because we are promoting on their platform and we are trying to gain or garner a following on that platform. So anything we can do to maybe put ourselves even slightly more in the favor of YouTube, I think just makes perfect sense. If a 15-second ad is the reason you don't watch the show anymore, I feel like you weren't going to watch the show long term anyways. So that part doesn't really concern me. Again, I agree with Ian. This is not a money thing. This is more of a trying new things out and seeing how we can get the best betting show to as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to promise everybody out there that we're going to keep this show as free as we possibly can. Right now, as I mentioned already, it's privately funded. There's not much that we need to do as far as expense out there. I mean, we're relatively doing it on a shoestring, but we want to make sure that we're producing the show correctly. We want to make sure it's done as professionally as possible. And of course, producer Jeff is just doing a remarkable job. This is just a passion project for him and something he's doing on the side while he waits for that big job sitting on his rocking chair. At the same time, we want to make sure that you get the best possible show, produced properly, great talent, great information, obviously easy on the eye to watch, and free. That's the goal for me and Buckets. We don't want to charge you. We've thought about subscription services. I've dabbled in it. Buckets is in that world. It's not for me because it takes a lot of time and dedication, and I don't want to do that. What I'd like to do is to find a network that we can put it on. What I'd like to do is find a partner that will support us going forward that we can make a lot more money with as a partner. But one thing's for sure, if we don't get that partner and we don't find that network, the show will stop at some point because we can't just continue to do it for free. So we got to find that partner. So therefore, introducing the ads, I think gives us an opportunity to maybe increase the viewership. Increase the viewership attracts more interest from partnerships and, of course, the right channels. Now, me and Buckets have, of course, turned down people before who want to take our show or even want to sponsor our show. We want to do it with the right people that we care about. We don't want fucking assholes. So if you're a good person out there and you've got a lot of money, let us know.
Yeah, we've worked. Never mind. Yes, I agree with everything IPJ said. Nothing but good things to say about former employers, and I'm excited to see where the show ends up.
Buckets, let's get into bad beats. This is something I want to introduce because this is fucking crazy. This is from a friend of mine at work. I won't not name names, but I'm gonna call them Mr. Anonymous because this is fucking crazy. I have showed this to you personally because it's really insane, but I want to show it to the loyal listeners because I want them to bet responsibly, but I want to show you something that is fucking wild. Now, this was Mr. Anonymous. It was a 10-leg parlay plus 46,565. And of course, if you look at all the games, it was on a Europa League and Europa Conference League game. The unit size on it was $100. And unfortunately, Mr. Anonymous cashed out and actually took a nice. No, don't worry. Took a nice. Listen, profit's profit, right? Took a nice profit from the game. It was $1,263 in profit for a unit size that's $100. That is an incredible profit. And of course, why take that profit? Because 9 of the 10 were hitting going into the 90th minute. And what happened after the 90th minute? Lazio fucking scored. And to complete the 10 out of 10, this would have paid out $46,000. So our bad beat of the week goes to Mr. Anonymous. Buckets, this hurts my soul.
It hurts my soul. And just, I want to get ahead of this one because people are going to ask, like, why didn't he hedge if he had hit 9 of the 10 bets? All of these matches took place at the same time.
Yep.
So you can't hedge out and say, like, oh, it's not like he had 9 hit going to the last one and then didn't. This was the correct option. I know that people are going to disagree with that, but this is guaranteed money. If he is a $100 unit better, he made 12 units off a parlay that had, frankly, no business hitting. So I applaud Mr. Anonymous. I know that has to hurt. But at the end of the day, he did come up with 12 units of profit in a single parlay, which is always impressive in itself.
Yeah, and I'm going to promise you out there that Mr. Anonymous is an incredibly talented bettor out there. You know who you are, and he's made a lot of money over the past 12 months. That would have been a sweet hit, probably the biggest hit of his life, but you can see the knowledge that goes into placing a wager like that. I mean, that's ridiculous knowledge. That's someone who lives and breathes football, and that's someone who understands the game and clearly understands the betting space as well, where you can make profit, how to make profit, but also someone who's smart, right? Someone who's going to take 12 units off the table from one unit placed, $100, he took $1,200 back. That's what I'm considering the unit size here. You're taking profit, 12x or 11x. I mean, to me, that's beautiful. So don't be so hard on yourself. It's just hard because you didn't accept the fact that the game could have had a winning goal. But also, it's the reason why we called our show fucking Stoppage Time. Because in stoppage time, the amount of goals that go in that win you bets or lose you bets is absolutely fucking insane. So, Buckets, that does it for another episode of Stoppage Time. This has been a different show. Normally, we're just betting heavy, obviously pleasing Eric Gunnarsson. But at the same time, I wanted to get the loyal listener comments out there, discuss about Inter Miami, get in some futures, and also get some best bets from you. What are your plans for this week coming up, Buckets, over the weekend?
Oh, my plan this weekend, actually, I have a very fun plan. I am taking the girl, there we go, the girlfriend and the dog. We're going to a national park here in the Midwest. We're doing this big hiking, kind of just see the sights, get out a bit while it's still nice fall weather here. About an hour and a half ago, Freya and I went on a half-mile loop. We are now 3 miles into the backwoods because Freya chased a squirrel and got us off track. And I don't know if we're going to make it back in one piece. I leave the remaining portion of FC Stoppage Time that I have, of course, to Ian Paul Joy. Ian, carry out our legacy of creating the best sports betting show on the planet. I have full faith that you will find another co-host that can do what I did, and I believe in you. Thank you, everyone, for your support over the years. If I do make it back, you can disregard this video and just pretend like it never happened. Here's our supplies. We've got some, excuse me, bud. Excuse me. We've got dog food, an apple, one more bottle of water, a pair of nunchucks for hunting, and 2 Rice Krispie squares. Feeling pretty good about our chances of survival out here, but also
At first this was a bit. It's becoming less of a bit because we're very far from our car, but we'll figure it out eventually. We got this. We got this. We're fine. We're not too worried.
But besides that, just try to enjoy international break footy, I guess, as hard as that can be.
That's what you've said, basically, right? You've like, listen, I've got a weekend off. It's international week. No one gives a fuck about international
We've got
games.
2 days. We got to do something. Yep.
Let's do something fun. Freya's excited. It's international fucking week. That's for sure. Listen, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for the time. Producer Jeff, love you. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing. The loyal listeners out there, make sure you please like and subscribe. Drop in the comments. As you can see, every now and again, I'll drop the comments in for all our viewers to be able to see as well. This show is for you, Stoppage Time. We apologize for the ads, but I'm not really sorry because who knows? This might make the show go even bigger and better, and eventually we'll get the partner that we're so waiting for. I love every single buddy out there. Yes, that's right. Skittles and rainbows and cupcakes. I love everybody out there. Have a great international week. Make sure you bet responsibly. Make sure you enjoy your week, Buckets, because I know you're going to have a fantastic weekend. Maybe something different for you as well to switch off. Maybe it's a time for everybody out there as well to switch off as well. Place your wagers that Buckets threw out there, switch off your phone, enjoy the weekend, and come back with us next week where we go rock and roll crazy once more. So everybody out there, make sure you absolutely have it!